It's another crazy day in the world of Magic the Gathering. We have the Wizards of the Coast cease and desist situation. We have the Lord of the Rings frenzy. And out of nowhere, Wizards of the Coast slapped a new official format for Magic onto their website.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The Magic Historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for a cram-packed installment of Mega Magic News. We have a lot to discuss. First of all is the Wizards of the Coast cease and desist situation. Now, this is something we have seen in the past as Wizards of the Coast seems to really be targeting proxy websites right now. So they went after, this time, MTG Print, sending them notice that they had to stop what they were doing. If you don't know what MTG Print is, it's a website where obviously you could go if you wanted to deal with making proxies and things like that, as I previously mentioned. But apparently, I've never used the service, they would line all the cards up in like a 3x3 grid so you could have like a page of 9 cards for easy printing on your printer. And people weren't just using this site to make Magic cards, they were also using it to make their own custom cards for their own board games and stuff like that. But regardless, Wizards of the Coast came down with the big old hammer and said, you got to stop doing that. And so MTG Print was like, all right, we feel you. And when you went to the website, there would just be a black screen with a tiny little message saying, Wizards of the Coast made a stop, we're not coming back, sorry. And we have seen this happening in a number of different locations. Now, I can't say for sure it's the reason, but I strongly suspect that's what's going on, is this is a reaction to 30th anniversary. When Wizards of the Coast made that with the gold-backed cards, they unintentionally sent a message to Magic players of two things. First of all, that they were going to charge these insane prices, but secondly, and most importantly, that playing with non-official Magic cards is okay. As soon as they went, we've increased the chances of you getting Soul Rings and Dual Lands, it stopped being a collector's item, and it clearly was designed for people to get playable cards. And so they went, wait a minute, playable cards that aren't real Magic cards, why don't I just go the proxy route? So, Wizards of the Coast has been playing whack-a-mole, it feels like. There's probably other sites that we haven't even seen, some smaller ones that get knocked out. But the problem for Wizards of the Coast in a situation like this is these proxy sites are fairly resilient. In fact, this one right here, MTG Print, just went back up today. So it's been like 3 days, and if you were basically thinking, oh, these guys are gone, I can't use their services anymore, they're back, along with a message saying, we're back for good, we're never going away. Now, honestly, I don't really understand exactly how it works with the underpinnings of Wizards of the Coast going after these sites. Like, what leg do they have to stand on? I don't know if you just basically go, hey, I'm over here in China or something like that, because that's where all these proxies are being printed, right? So if it's a situation where it's out of their reach, the most they can do is send like a cease and desist notice. Clearly, it worked for a few days. I would love to know exactly what happened underneath, because other proxy sites, what we've seen happen is basically people grab the website and just rebirth it elsewhere. It's the same kind of thing you see with like TV show sites and ones with movies where you go there for a bit and then, oops, the government came along and shut them down, or some regulatory agency shut down that particular website, but then they go, oh, that was .com. Now we're .nos, come on over. And they just start changing their names to like crazy versions like that. So proxy sites were doing that to move around and get away from Wizards of the Coast. Honestly, when it comes to stopping them, Wizards of the Coast can't, because they'll always spring up new versions. So it seems like they might just be trying to go the route where the more difficult they make it for people, the more it's going to push people away. If people have to go and search up a new website, there's a less likelihood that they're going to even know that it happened, right? So they're just going to be like, okay, I go to this website, it's gone, I don't even know about the next one because it's not going to be listed at this website. So I guess in one way, it does kind of reduce proxy making for a bit, because if you can keep a site offline for 3 days, that's enough to make a bunch of people think it's gone for good. So there's clearly a reason that Wizards of the Coast feels like it's worth it to financially pursue this concept, but ultimately it feels like you knock this one down, he goes right back into his hole and just pops up somewhere else. And with the MTG print, they're literally right back in business. And it's not even a matter of them changing the website. It was speculated that, hey, maybe they could come back if when you go to the page, like you have the 9 cards on one page, and you can print it out, or you can literally just order the proxies from a proxy website if you don't want to print it out. So people said, hey, maybe if they get rid of this button that says you can print out the proxies, then they'll, or not the print button, obviously, the one that says you can buy the proxies, then maybe it'd be fine and Wizards can't come after them. But lo and behold, the website came back up in basically its original form. I don't see any differences overall. It looks the same to me. Still has that button that lets you buy proxies. So it doesn't seem to me like that is actually really making a difference overall. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Lord of the Rings frenzy. It's absolutely crazy. Oops, I dropped my notepad. Hi, I'm an old wizard. My bones hurt. And this is my Ridge wallet. Ridge is the sponsor of today's video. These metal wallets are compact, they have a super unique look, and include RFID protection. Ridge is celebrating its 10th anniversary by giving up to 40% off when you use the link ridge.com/myboneshurt. And that's good up until March 26th. Ridge also makes these sweet key cases. They keep all your keys organized, and they eliminate the obnoxious jangling of your keys, which is great when you want to sneak out to buy some magic cards without letting your wife know. Grab one at ridge.com/myboneshurt. Who wants to have a wallet made out of the weak skin of a cow when you can have a strong wallet made out of metal, the bones of the earth? So, the Lord of the Rings frenzy is absolutely crazy, and we all know what it's centered around. The One Ring, the crown jewel right now for people to chase after in Magic the Gathering terms. They're like, yo, there's way more lotuses than there are this, even though it's just like an alternate art variation. So there's some room to go, the lotus argument, whatever. Either way, this is going to be a big money card. The numbers that are being thrown around, Amazon has a posting saying that the percentage chance of you getting the ring in any particular pack is 0.00003. I'm going to have that up on the screen because I feel like that kind of a number is really hard to conceptualize in your head. But that's how much smaller than 1% it is. Look at that. Now, people are tossing around different numbers on the internet, and feel free to toss your own math down in the comments on this. But I've seen different math that says it takes anywhere from 200 to 250,000 collector boosters if you wanted to just buy packs and open them until you hit the ring based on these numbers, on that crazy 0.00003 stat. Then you have to buy like 250,000 collector boosters, and the product run for them could be 3 million or more collector boosters. So even if you bought that many, that's how you mathematically get there, right? Obviously, every booster pack theoretically has the same chance of having the one. There's not multiples. The One Ring. Every pack technically has a chance, and I actually want to address the bundle situation as well, because I've seen people say, wait, it says you can get it in collector boosters and bundles. And this is a very technical situation where you can only get it in one bundle and only in one booster from that bundle. So if you get the Lord of the Rings special premium version, right, the gift edition bundle, then you get one collector's pack inside that, and that one collector's pack could technically have the One Ring. So if you have seen advertising that said, hey, bundles will let you have a chance, understand that to me is a skeezy maneuver meant to think, hey, could be any bundle, when it's really a small percentage of the bundles, because the gift bundles are way rarer than the regular bundles, right? And there's only one pack in those bundles. So that is I guess, technically legal, but feels pretty disingenuous to me, right? Like, this is Wizards of the Coast. What do you expect? Their marketing is like that. So, the One Ring has caused this, obviously, first of all, the crazy number crunching, but crazy numbers in terms of standing open offers. You don't normally see this. There are multiple public offers right now for this One Ring card where people are offering 100,000, 250,000 is the highest number that I've seen so far. So this card hasn't even been found, and people are already pricing it at like $250,000. I would not have pegged that as my first guess, but when people come running out of the gates going, yo, I'll throw 100 large at you for this, like with no questions asked, then you know something's going on, right? This is clearly a bigger thing than it seems. And ultimately, maybe it's just a matter of looking at like the sports collectible market. How do you really value a one of, right? It's a fascinating sort of scenario. And watching people go absolutely crazy over it has been a lot of fun to watch. Now, let's talk about the new format. And by new, I mean, it's going to be new to some of you. This format has been around in the underbrush for quite a while, but Wizards out of nowhere just went sablam and slapped it onto their website. This was brought to my attention yesterday, and when I saw it, because there was no fanfare, there was no mention of it, I was like, was this already an official format? Like, I legitimately was like, wait, what is going on right now? So, we're talking about Oathbreaker. It has been made official. It's no longer lurking down in the weeds going, acknowledge me, Papa. Wizards of the Coast has acknowledged it, and I presume we're going to get some kind of announcement, I don't know, a couple days down the road, maybe something like that, right? So, if you don't know what Oathbreaker is, it's like a variant of Commander, kind of. So you have a 60 card deck instead of a 100 card deck. Instead of picking a legendary creature to be your commander, you choose a planeswalker who is your Oathbreaker. So works the same as a commander, sits in the command zone, defines the color identity of your deck, right? But they also have a signature spell. So your Oathbreaker has one spell that they're really good at, right? And that actually sits in the command zone with them as well. And as long as you have your actual Planeswalker Oathbreaker out, you can cast your signature spell from the command zone the same way, right? So like basically every time you cast it, it costs 2 more. It is a fun flavor concept. So you start at 20 life, you play 60 card decks. It's like 3 to 5 people. There's not really that much more to it. If you go to Wizards of the Coast website, you can get the full details on it, but there's really not much more than it's Planeswalker Commander with 60 cards, a signature spell. That's the craziest part. As long as you remember you have your Planeswalker out, you can't cast it otherwise. And the other difference is your Planeswalker works the same way as a commander does. If it's going to die, you can go put it in the graveyard if you want, or you can put it back in your hand. But your signature spell always goes back to the command zone. So you don't have the ability to actually let it go to your graveyard or anything like that. So that is one minor tweak, but ultimately it is a pretty straightforward format. Now, next thing I want to talk about is March of the Machines. Out of nowhere, a lot's going on. Maybe this is why Wizards just slapped out that Oathbreaker. Oh, I should mention, that probably means as well, we're going to see Oathbreaker products very soon. We're probably going to see Oathbreaker decks, and the Planeswalker cards that are at the front there will probably be some juicy new ones, I'm guessing. Why not make some new Planeswalkers for the format, right? Like, Planeswalkers we've already seen, but why not come in with a new Jace, a new Chandra, or whoever, right? They're bound to have some extra artwork kicking around for those Planeswalkers, and who knows if they're ever going to get uncompleted again. So it's a great opportunity to just go, here you go, have some Oathbreaking with some of the people you like. All right, now let's talk about Mom and the story drop. Wizards of the Coast has released the beginning of the story for March of the Machines, all right? And it's actually got some pretty interesting elements. So I've gone ahead and recorded a video that's already out on the first installment of the story. And I'll be putting one out every day for the next week and a half. So come on over to Fantasy Geographic and check that out. I'm gonna leave a link up on the screen here for you to check it out. That ends the video. Big thank you to Ridge for sponsoring it.